Let's go to page 127. And that has to do with unretired interest, capital expenditure. The amount involved 4,151,000, and the details are indicated in the table from K1 Sub-Treasury, NASA Road Authority, Bekama Sub-Treasury, and then Gambia Red Cross Society. The audit recommended that management ensure all payments made to institutions are supported with adequate supporting documents and detailed furnished to audit for confirmation. Management response works. Management response.
Yes, Mr. Chair. The retirement documents were attached in Appendix D. Attached.
Audit.
Auditor's comment. Below retirements were provided for our review. A total of $2,636,700 is remain outstanding. See table.
Out of the 4.1 million, 2.6 is still outstanding. Works.
Subsequently, the remaining ones were submitted again.
When was that?
I don't know for sure, but I think it sometime last year.
Where's works? Oh, you are very far.
I'm responding.
That's why I'm looking around. I could not see. Yeah? You said remaining ones were submitted to who? Audit?
Yes, through the Accountant General's Department.
AG, can you confirm that?
We will need to go back and check because I'm not sure.
So are you claiming that all the remaining ones were submitted to AGD?
Except the last one, the one for Red Cross.
You are making exception now.
Yes, no, because no, that one, the payment didn't go through.
When confirmation comes, exceptions are coming.
Yes, because the payment didn't hit their account. So they cannot account for something that they haven't received.
Which one is exception?
The
Red Cross?
The one for Red Cross.
Okay,
the
so
Red Cross Society.
So the other one supposed to be confirmed by Accountant General.
Yes.
And why Red Cross is not?
They claim that the account we provided the evidence to that account is not theirs. It was dormant, sort of.
That's a dormant account?
Yes.
Did you verify or confirm that?
I went back to Accountant General to inform them that this payment didn't hit their account because they said that our account is no longer active.
I said, did you confirm that yourself?
Yes, with the Accountant General's Department. No, it's not for me to confirm. I think the Accountant General needs to write to the bank for the bank to return the money.
Okay, Accountant General, can you shed light on that?
Yeah, like I said, we will verify and come back to you on that because we should be able to go online and check whether the funds had gone or have been applied to that particular account or it was returned.
Okay, so that verification and confirmation will be reported back 25th. Submission. We have a lot of work to do. Next, page 131, National Road Authority. Are they here or works?
Yes, Chairman, we are here.
Very good. Welcome. Unclear allocation of interim payments for Sankande Karantaba Road, project phase 1 and 2. The amounts involved 101,157,456.02. And the audit recommended that management ensure a reconciliation of payment disbursement for phase 1 and 2 is made for Sankandi Karantaba Road project and also provide all interim payment certificates. Management response?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. We did provide responses to this, but you could see that it shows no manager response. But I could still go back to what we submitted. We did submit IPCs 1 to 6 for Kiang. We also have had it in a table whereby from IPC 1 to 6, it's on phase 1, and from 6 to IPC 10 is on phase 2 of the Kiang Karantaba project. That also can be submitted for them to see.
Audit? They said they provided response, but it did not reflect.
No management response was issued, therefore the issue remains unresolved. Maybe I can go make further clarification on this.
You can.
The management responses were collated by Accountant General, so maybe Accountant General may be able to explain if indeed these management responses were submitted to them. Thank you.
AGD?
Sorry, Chair, allow me to consult. Maybe, Chair, I want to request that you allow us to check, but it's unusual for an entity to submit a management response and it is not reflected. So maybe let me find out. NRA, who did you submit it to? Who were you working with?
Myself and one of our managers, Falu, did submit everything. We collated everything and sent it to the AGD. I think he did send it to Clara. Via email. Okay. The responses were all made in PDF form and sent.
Via email?
Yes.
So we can easily trace it through the email.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Allow us.
Because some of the responses that we give are on the response here. Falu Galas now. It's f.now@nra.gm. That is official email address.
Can we wait?
So maybe you continue with the others while
okay.
we verify.
Page 133, prolonged delays in completion of Sankandi Karantaba Road project, phase 1 and 2. Under the audit, the amount involved in that project amounted to 1,207, is it billion or what? 1,207,600,882.15. And the audit recommended that management give an explanation on why above contract have been prolonged to this extent. Management?
Our response, as you could see, like I was saying, some answers were provided, some were not, but all the same, it says the project completion date was 30th December 2023, marking 28 calendar months of construction and supervision of the project. However, due to the undermentioned points, the project underwent delays, one of which is delays in payment of interim payment certificates, as we call it, IPCs, late verification of quarries for lateral extraction, inadequate earth moving equipment from the contractor on site, late deployment of concrete teams for drainage and concrete works, scarcity of basalt on several periods of construction, scarcity of cement on several periods of construction, also the inadequate supply of bitumen, and the prolonged rainy season. The rainy seasons that were calculated have gone beyond that. So these were one amongst the reasons that why the project encountered some delays.
Audit?
Auditor's comment? No management response. Therefore, the issue remains unresolved up to the time of finalizing this management letter. However, this place, we need clarity here. We acknowledge the management response, but the issue was not resolved at the time of finalizing. Yes, they are advancing these reasons as to why there were delays, but ideally, all these reasons that are advanced here should be replicated in their progress reports, and hadn't been that there were adequate feasibility studies, this would have been anticipated before the project kickoff. That is my submission for now.
Works?
Chair, I would like to say this. Most of the materials that are used for construction in this country, apart from sand and laterite, the rest are all imported. And if there is some scarcity, it also contributes to delays in finishing or completing roadworks. There was a time that basalt was a scarcity, cement the same, as well as bitumen. And some of these are principal in finishing these roadworks. So these are amongst other things that caused the delay, as alluded earlier.
If you look at the original contract duration, 12 months, even though the commencement of the contract is not indicated, it was signed on the 13th July 2021, and the duration for the contract is 12 months. And that took up to 46 months. If the reasons that are advanced were as a result of the cause of the delay, then that means that kept on repeating. Something that was serve for 1 year, the first year you can understand, yes, these were the factors why it could not be completed for the first year. But another 12 months came, it was not. Another 12 months also came, it was not. Persistently. If it's 1 year, you can understand. But 46 months, that's almost about how many years? 4 years. 4 years. Can you attribute that to the prolonged rainy season? 4 years rainy season has been prolonged. Can that just be justified? Maybe the first, if it's 1 year, you can understand, because you were not expecting the rain to serve for more than 4 months or 3 months. It lasted for 4 months. The second year, the same thing. Then you should know now you cannot consider the rainy season to be 3 months. It has been more than 3 months for 2 years. Then the third year, that should not come to you as a surprise. That rainy season can be more than 3 months. Shortage of scarcity of cement. You know, cement, even some of us who are doing private construction, when we know scarcity of cement, we try to make sure we get the quantity we want before this cement will be out of market. As a serious company, you know you are not in control. And the moment the supply is available, that should be your target. Without the cement, the work will be halted. First year it happened, second year you can put contingency measures. Huh? And the other one is also about, what is that? What material again? Lead deployment concrete teams for their drainage and concrete works. Deployment of teams. That's your responsibility. First year, lead deployment. Second year, lead deployment. Every year, lead deployment. Can that also be an excuse? Huh? Scarcity of basalt on several periods of the construction. The same thing applies just like cement. When you are affected first year, second year, you can anticipate that this may happen. And when it happens, what are the contingent measures that should be in place? So I'm not, honestly, to be very frank, I cannot see all these issues to be genuine excuse if this has to last for 4 years. If 1 year, I can understand. The second year, yes, this was the problem. But persistently, second, third, up to 4 years. Yes?
Honorable Chair, I want to say that one of the excuses or reasons I've pointed out, maybe you have not alluded to, but I would also like to say that delayed in payments of certificates also do contribute a lot in contractors getting money for their cash flow so that they can also execute these projects.
Who is responsible for that? That delay?
Delayed in payments are the I don't want to point fingers out, but when IPCs...
You are not pointing fingers.
Yeah, let me explain, sir.
Sorry. Don't deviate. Go to the point.
Okay. When IPCs come to the NRA for... When they have been certified by the consultant, it comes to the NRA, and then we also vet it and send it to the Ministry of Works for onward submission to Ministry of Finance for payment. But most of the time, we do encounter delays of IPCs, payment of IPCs. So this is one of the most significant issue or significant reason why these projects do encounter delays. Because if the contractor doesn't get paid on time, it's always very difficult to get to these materials and be able to continue with work. Delayed in payments are a very, very major reason why these projects do encounter delays.
You have not told me, you have not answered my question. And who is responsible for that delay in payment?
Ministry of Finance.
Ministry of Finance. Where are they? Finance? They are here. Somebody is there. Finance. You caused the delay. All the decisions that are advanced cannot be genuine. Of course, they are not in control as far as finance is concerned. Then that is your side.
Minister of Finance, we are also working with GRA. So we only allocate what we have. So let GRA give us more money so that we can...
They wanted to go. I don't know whether they have gone already. Oh my God. Okay, Finance. Yes, Finance?
Yes, like I said, there is the little revenue that we collected, we generate from based on GRA collection. That is what we prioritize. So this is the little resources that we share among the sectors.
But so, GRA is responsible for raising, but actually trying to disburse, that's entirely responsibility of finance. So you prioritize.
That's what I'm saying. Little resources that the GRA collects, yes. That is what we use to prioritize.
Okay.
Yes.
So GRA is not responsible. Huh?
Indirectly, they should give us more revenue so that we can do it.
Okay. So if noted, honorable members, now can you tell us what is the status of the work now?
Honorable Chair, phase 1 is at 98% and phase 2 is at 96%.
Phase 1 is the Sankandi Karantaba.
Yeah, Sakandi Kandraba is phase 1, is 98% complete, and the other roads linking to the Jolis, the Jalis, the Kantong Kundas is 96% complete.
Up to Kurun Koto.
Yes, works are very, very much advanced now.
If you say 98%, I hope completion can be done before rainy season.
We hope before end of first quarter, at most second quarter.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Okay. So, on that note, honorable members, what's your take? The management response
Yes, it's
first has to be provided. I think that's what the, this one, response is provided. The other one, that AGD is supposed to check and then update. On this one, the concern is on the prolonged delay. So all the reasons that were advanced, maybe we can take delay in payment, not to be directly under their responsibility. Yes, Honorable?
Yes, yes. I think, for me, looking at the issue holistically, you realize that I think delay in payment actually is the main issue. Because if you don't have money on time, you may not be able to hire the equipment and buy other materials for the construction. But I think the Minister of Finance also need to help in this regard. If they're trying to chew what they cannot bite, then they will have a problem. So in as much as we all want to see these things to work, we must also ensure that we can actually chew what we have, what we have bite. But it seems we are just taking too much. So I think the push needs to be on the side of the Minister of Finance to look for money, so that they can do these things on time. Because otherwise, the more you delay, the more things will be more expensive actually. Because if you check for 3 years a bag of cement, for example, how much it was costing 3 years ago and now is very different. If you look at the tonnage of basalt, for example, same thing. So at the end of the day, it's not good either on the side of the government, but also it's not equally good on the side of the contractor. It's in fact very bad for the side of the contractor. So I think we just need to ensure we manage these projects properly. If we are certain that we have so much stuff on the table, then they may need to defer until there's enough money or the projection actually looks like they should be able to do that.
Honorable, I agree with you. In fact, it's not only the cost, even the quality of the contract can be compromised. Something that should take them 1 year is taking them about 4 years. Obviously, that contract or the quality of the work can be compromised because we are faulted in many aspects. They too can deliberately or unintentionally fault in the quality. So that alluded the position that you just expressed. The ministries will try to avoid such. Yeah, we all want work to be done, construction to be done, but in a manner how do they call it? Cut your coat according to your size. It's important. Otherwise, the quality of our works can be compromised. There are a lot of projects that are facing the same problem, not only this Chiang Karantaba, Sankandi area. Even my own area, there's a road under construction. No, there's a road there, Jaliba Road. They know what I'm talking about. The contracts even was terminated, given to another, but still facing the same. If you ask the contractor, I've not got any money. They said the phone is finished. Huh? And they too are compromising the quality of the work until finally the ministry had to terminate that contract. Let's try to cut our coat according to our size. Yeah. Somebody or someone will say according not only to the size but to the material. You cut your coat according to the material.
The status of yours, the one you are talking about.
The status in limbo.
In limbo, yeah.
Seriously.
That's a serious one.
So we proceed. 135 works again.
Chair,
Yes.
I beg your pardon, to go back to the issue of the impress where they said Red Cross was not paid.
What page?
130.
130.
Yeah. The three outstanding payments, the last one on page 130 is Red Cross.
Yeah, Red Cross, yes.
Yes, we can confirm through our reconciliation that it has reconciled, which means it has been paid.
Then you provide the evidence for confirmation. Okay? We go back to 30, well, actually 33. Prolonged delays in completion of another Sankandi Karantaba. 130, 35. Award of Kiam Waste Road Phase 2 contract without open competitive building. This was flagged by the auditors and therefore recommended that in future contracts of significant value, scope be subject to open competitive bidding in accordance with GBA guidelines. Management. Works. Are they here? Yes, manager response.
This is well noted, and assurance is hereby given that subsequent future contracts.
Page 135.
Yes.
Read the manager response.
That's what I'm reading, Chairman.
You are not reading that.
No, there's nothing there provided.
What is there? You tell us that.
What we have sent is what I'm reading from.
No, what is there? It's what you should tell us. Huh? What is in the table?
Let me get to the table.
Huh?
The table says no management response.
Okay, stop there.
Okay.
We'll ask you why. Yes, NAO.
Auditor's comment, no management response. Therefore, the issue remain unresolved up to the time of finalizing this management letter.
Works, why no response at that time?
Mr. Chair, just like I was explaining, the response prior to this one was all sent together.
Okay.
So one response is picked up, the others are not picked up. I don't understand. It could be some mistake, but these responses were all provided.
Response sent to.
So I'm just trying to read what we did send. Yes.
Okay. AGD, can you confirm?
Chair, the word version we have from them, these two, no management response.
Response to
Yes. Works, you've had AGD.
Yeah, Chair, like I was saying, I have what was sent. It's with me here. That's what I'm reading from.
Yeah, no, you should not be reading that. What we'll be asking you to do is to provide that.
Okay, we will provide, sir.
Okay?
We will
But
provide.
again, before providing, can you give us an update on the query? Has there been any improvement?
Like I was saying, prior to this, this is noted, and since from 2021 to date, most of the works that reach more than the 50% or when it reaches to 50% contract sum, we seek clearance from GBPA and we try for it not to go beyond 50% threshold so that we will not go into another tendering in terms of additional works or addendum.
So are you tied to deduce no violation of GBPA Act?
Yes, and then also prior to this contract being signed, we did secure a no objection from them regarding the phase 2, of which we did receive, and those documents were also submitted to the auditors. I also have copy of that. You can still provide it again.
From GBPA?
Yes, the no objection. For the phase 2.
GBPA? Okay, it's your turn now. GBPA, you've heard it well. Good. Can you react to that? This has to do with the Kiang West Road Phase 2. Contract upin competitive bidding without competitive bidding.
Thank you, Honorable. Yes, the initial contract was approved, and that is phase 1. And then after that, they requested for no objection to award the contract to the same contractor. And again, the authority gave no objection for them to proceed.
The initial contract was awarded, and that one followed the bidding?
Exactly, the bidding process.
And then upon completion, the second one, you did not object to the contract be awarded to the same contractor?
Exactly, because, Honorable, it is provided in the law that, or the act, that when a contract meets or an award meets certain conditions, of course, including the less than 50% that he has already mentioned, due to some reasons, including compatibility, that the first stage or the first contract follow due process, and the second one, of course, there is the need for you to proceed with the same contractor. Yes, approval can be granted.
You made reference to law, but which provision? Can you refer us to the law? Is it the Act, GBP Act, or whatever law?
Sawane, can you, because I don't have the, okay. Additional. Yeah.
GBP Act? Okay. duration between the first phase of the contract and the second phase. That is to say, Guy Enterprise was awarded the contract for Kiang West phase 2, valued 857 million or billion million 841,842.1, just 6 months after being awarded the phase 1 30-kilometer project. Just 6 months after the phase 1 was awarded, second phase was also awarded. I don't know how far the work had gone. That will warrant, or that will convince that the contract should be awarded to the same person. Just 6 months after the awarding of the first one, the second contract was awarded. So what qualifies the performance of the first contract to enable the second one be awarded to the same contractor? That's also for Jari Anaka GVA.
Honorable, these things.
Chair, can I find out where the GPPA availed the management letters?
Okay,
Schreier, did you have the management letter? Yes, this, yeah. Yeah, I think they should have been, brought on board, and so that they prepare themselves, so that they could be able to intervene and respond adequately, because then they would have prepared before coming here. Pardon? No, what I'm saying is they should have been availed this. So they. Yes, I understand there are some issues that relate to procurement, but there are some issues that are more significant that would need the intervention of GPPA based on their involvement of the process. So we should have availed them the management letter, so they go through it and look at the areas, the salient points that affect them, so that they can, in this discussion, participate adequately.
Still request that we go by her recommendations, because I am trying to look into the file so that I refer you exactly to the section concerned, but exactly.
Honorable Chair. That's for NRA, not GPPA.
I want to say that maybe we allow GPPA anywhere that it says it has anything to do with procurement. Because, for example, tender evaluation reports and bidding documents, it would involve maybe GRA. It would involve maybe GPPA. So let them go through it. If it is not relevant to them, they would say that this is not relevant to us. But maybe let's give them the opportunity.
Chair, I beg to differ. This finding relates to NRA. They should be able to answer these questions, not GPPA.
Yes, I think these documents, primarily the NRA is the custodian. So, and that's the reason why I said this is missing. So when they're doing this audit, they ask them to provide. You see, the GPPA will only come in at the time of doing a review, giving approval, whatever, at the time. So, but the entire custodian of this document actually belongs to NRA themselves, not the GPPA. However, if documents are missing, maybe they may have sent a copy to GPPA. Maybe they can go there and get a copy. But at this stage, I think the responsibility most squarely falls under the NRA to provide. Except if it is missing, then they can consult with them to help them if they have a copy.
So, Chair, maybe we ask the committee clerk to share the MLs with them.
It says, please find attached document relating to query named as Appendix B. We have shared most of it, if not all, documents with the NAO. But if need be, we will share it again, but we did share the documents with them.
Auditor's comment. The evidence, newspaper clippings for Sabah Sukuto Bambali / Ngen Sanjal das Sarakunda provided were not in connection with the finding. Therefore, the finding remain unresolved.
Like I said, Honorable Chair, the documents that we did share with them, we will share with them again, but we have shared some documents with them. We'll work out with the procurement team and make it available. Yes, sir. Okay, sir, noted. Noted, sir.
If you look at the top page here, it's saying Regulation 38 of the Gambia Public Procurement Act of 2014. I know the latest act was in 2022, but the regulation has taken some time for it to change. So I don't know if you are aligning because yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
No, I'm saying that the GPP Act is 2022. However, the regulation that was made in the 2014, a lot of time before, they changed it. I think it was just recently done. So I don't know if this just aligned to 2014 or is this one here.
Good question, Honorable Bo. We are all aware that these instruments, when using the GBP Act, you cannot use them in isolation without the regulations. So that being the case, it will be best for us to wait until the regulations are out, then we can use them concurrently. But in the absence of the regulations, we were using the existing laws, that is the GBPA 2014 with its accompanying regulations. This is a bit technical, I don't know, maybe they can help us in that regard.
No, you cannot use the law, because when the law is, taken off of the board, you cannot use it.
No.
But I think the regulation, they didn't change, so the regulation will still be valid.
No, maybe what I'm saying here, the 2022 Act came into force, it was assented to in 2022, that's why they call it 2022 Act. But you cannot use the Act alone without the regulation. You cannot, because the provisions, the regulations explains the provisions in the Act.
I understand, yeah. What I'm saying is, if you're going to quote a law which is not in existence, this law is no longer in existence. However, the Act actually they're using still under the 2022 one.
Sorry. This particular contract was relating to 2021. In fact, at the time, 2022 was not enforced.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I think Honorable Mbo has asked a very relevant question with regards to GBP Act. The current Act is 2022. The 2014 Act has been repealed in 2022. So that law it does not exist anymore. It's been repealed. So you cannot make reference to that law anymore. However, the issue of the regulation, the current regulation is 2024 regulation. The regulation has been promulgated and it was sent to justice for cleanup and alignment. So it took so long with justice. We made several attempts to finalize the regulation until recently. So we finalized the regulation 2024. But what I just want to bring to the notice of the auditors, with regards to the Act, the 2014 Act does not exist. So it's 2022. Thank you.
So, GBA, I think the bone of contention here is the auditors were auditing the accounts of 2023. Not so. The law you are talking about, the GBP Act, was in 2024. Am I right? The regulation was in 2024. There's a Parent Act which came into being when? 2022. So now, if they are auditing the accounts of 2023, which one are they going to use?
If they are accounting the books of 2023, so the right law regulation make reference to is 2022, because the 2014 is repealed. It does not exist.
When was it repealed?
2022.
The
Yes.
regulation, when was that one repealed?
Regulation. The regulation came into 2024.
It came into being in 2024.
2024, yes.
And when you're making quotations, you have to quote from both. All of them.
There's a bit technical issue there. So because I'm not sure.
Sorry,
I'm not sure.
allow me.
I'm sorry.
No, come in. I just want clarity
Yes.
so that we can know which one to use.
I'm not sure whether once laws are repealed, whether you can still make reference to it. Because that's the bond of contention. Because I even have a discussion with them at some point to say once the laws are repealed, you cannot make reference to it anymore because it does not exist. Because it has already superseded by another law. So the law that's been repealed already, I don't know whether you can make reference to that. In my opinion, no, you should not make reference to it. But we have a director of policy from GPP, Mr. Sajam. Maybe he want to make clarification to that.
Thank you, Sawane. Now, as he rightly said, we have the Act 2022. And when that came into existence, obviously the orders were already repealed. But we also have the regulations in 2024. Actually, whether he is talking about whether it is acceptable or not, but what we were doing was we were using the 2022 Act and the 2018 regulations. Sorry, 29 regulations. So, as he rightly said, whether it is acceptable or not. But what I am looking at is like all those transactions that we are looking at will be affected. They were done in 2021. Then the 2024 was not existing. So obviously, if we are to look at them, we have to make reference to 2019 regulations, 2022 Act and 2019 regulations.
Okay, go ahead.
You see what happened is, the regulation is still valid until the regulation has changed and gazetted. So here, they could have just stopped at regulation 38 of the Gambia Public Procurement. Just stop there, because the money, no, the regulation is valid. The regulation is still valid at the time until you change it and gazette. It's still valid. Because of there is repairs and savings. And that's the reason why sometimes all law you can quote if there is repairs and savings. Because the regulation didn't change until 2024. Yes. So since the beginning until 2024, you can continue to use that regulation. However, if there is any difference between regulation and the act, the regulation is null and void. Then what happens? So that's why you need to be very careful. If I would have only stopped on the regulation only and not to quote the act. I just stopped on the regulation only because the regulation does not supersede the act. The act 2022 supersedes the 2014 regulation. However, if there's anything that's different between regulation and the act, the regulation is null and void. Yeah.
Yes. But, Honorable, I think we are all speaking the same language, maybe with different tones. Because here they are not making direct reference to the act. They are making references to the regulation. No, allow me. This regulation was used for the act. But now you know that they are not making quotations from the act. It says regulation 38.
Of 2018, should be 2019.
Regulation 38. Are you together? Section 38. So,
sorry,
so that becomes
regulations normally is regulations. It's only the act that will have sections.
Okay, then we can proceed.
Yes, these documentations are still outstanding, as we stated in the finding, and the non-management response that were provided were not aligned with what we indicated in the table, so the issue remains unresolved.
Yes, Honorable Chair. I said we'll work with the procurement team and provide the documents requested. Thank you.
Chair, this question will be inconvenient for GPPA. But I think the elephant in the room is what's happening with regards to the compliance report for the government. Because we are seeing the auditor stepping in time and time again, but you are the institution rightly placed to provide those answers. And I don't know. Because the auditor is stepping in. And now we can see that there are some little gaps. And we believe if you are doing it, I mean, you would have done it more comprehensively. Because this was supposed to be part of the compliance report. So even if the report is out now, it will be considered as a standalone. It would have been important if you had the compliance report right here, then we have the audited financial statements, then we can do both of them simultaneously. So, I don't know, Chair, because there are a lot of issues on procurement. Yeah.
You are right, Honorable. But if you look at this report, is the Auditor General's report. Of course, it's about institutions put together. Now, for us, our reviews will target various institutions like the ministries, the parastatals, and so on. And at the end of the day, we'll generate reports separately, separate reports for each of the institutions. And that applies to most of the big spenders, as we may call them, like GRA, Social Security, and so on and so forth. Now, all these institutions that we have reviewed have separate reports, and that they are not compiled as one report, just like this other report that we are reading. And the reason why I mention big spenders is simply because the ministries per se, the ministries compared to other institutions, spend far more than what the ministries spend. And that is why, given our limited resources, of course, we have been talking about limited resources in terms of human capacity and the like, to review all institutions to ensure that reports are generated and so on. So because we cannot do that for all institutions, we give priority to the big spenders. And we have reports, we have reviewed most of these big spenders, and reports are generated for them. And when they are coming as POs, when they are reporting as POs, because I know even the institutions that are mentioned here, like GRA, like the Works Ministry of, sorry, the NRA, and so when they are coming, obviously will appear again to, and will come with their individual reports for each of their institutions.
Thank you, Director. But that's exactly what is happening today. Because I might be wrong, but if you put all of these government institutions together, they cannot match the Ministry of Works when it comes to procurement. The Ministry of Works, they can't. I think it's one of the largest procuring institutions. Why I'm saying this is, we want some clarity. The Auditor General have expertise, but when it comes to procurement, you have more expertise than the Auditor General. And many a times you go to the management response, the auditees also will provide evidence. I would not be pleased to say they might be right or they might be wrong, but if those evidences were provided to you, in fact, you have been in a position to say, yes, these are verifiables and they speak to the facts, or no, because you are more rightly placed. So I agree with you, like you are concentrating on some big spenders, but I think the biggest spender here when it comes to procurement is the Minister of Works. Take one road, for example, just one road. It might be the cumulative sum of all of those other agencies combined. So why am I saying this? Like, if you look at the report from the Auditor General, it's very bulky. We want it to become slim. It will be better if they concentrate on their job. GBPA also, which is established when it comes to compliance issues, you also take your responsibility and eventually we move. Of course, the auditor can make some highlights during his audit if at all they really come across certain information which they want clarity on. But what we are seeing right now is everything is coming from the Auditor General, and that is not helping. That is not helping. For me, my proposal will be, even if at all you are doing these things as a standalone, but you kind of consolidate it to be considered alongside the audited financial statements. That is coming, because the Auditor General is just looking at the transactional correctness, you know, completeness of the records and whatnot. But you are looking at the value for money, where those monies are actually being injected. So if you can do both of them together, that would help. Because now the auditor can close that the financial statements, have provided some reasonable credibility with regards to A, B, C, and D. That's correct. But now, how do we have satisfaction that indeed the services that were bought or procured have gone through the right mechanisms? So that will be my submission, Chair, to encourage GPPA to also come up with the compliance reports, so that we can have both of them together, like we are doing for other institutions.
Okay, clerk took note.
Noted.
Let's go to 139, that has to do with Ministry of Youth and Sports. They are present? Good. With the Director General, Independence Stadium. That's your area. This has to do with the rehabilitation work at the Independence Stadium. When the stadium was banned for CAF matches, the government initiated the initiative is structured in 3 phases, which has a combined budget exceeding 275 million. In regard to that, the audit observed non-compliance of payment rules stated in the contract, and that is indicated in the table. Under the audit recommended that the management ensure reconciliations are made against the contract terms. Management response?
Honorable Chair, can I step in?
For?
Just one clarity here.
Okay.
After finalizing the report, we later realized that this issue was resolved.
Okay.
Even though it was coming here for this particular one.
When it was resolved, was it did not reflect in 2024?
No, this was not reflected in 2024.
It was so reported in 2024.
Yeah, it basically was a reconciliation issue.
So reconciliation.
Yeah.
And it was reconciled.
Exactly.
And I remember the auditor is reporting that on finalization of the report, they considered that the report is reconciled. And on that note, the issue is resolved. Right? We go to 141, that also for youth and sports. Advance payment exceeds 50% threshold set by GBBA, and it is indicated in the table, and on that, the audit recommended that management advised to comply with the GPA regulations and the terms stated in the contract documentation, as well as management to justify the payment that are made to the contractor. Management?
Honorable Chair, the reason for payment of 55% is that the procurement involves the hiring of highly specialized materials by the contractors.
as stated in the procurement and the regulations. Prior approval of 50% was sought, was requested from the GPPA, and approval was granted. And the other 5% was approved at the level of the ministry as an addendum contract. Audit?
Auditor's comment. The evidence of the addendum is not provided, therefore the finding remains unresolved.
Bureau of Sports? We intend to provide the evidence of the addendum to the audit office as soon as possible. Well, why didn't you do it at the time of the audit or soon after your response to the ML? Well, when we submitted the response, we were anticipating that we'll get something back from the National Audit Office. In fact, we did not see this copy until when we get here. However, I don't see that as an excuse. I know it's on their website, but then I took over this mantle of responsibility as permanent secretary at the ministry for just 2 weeks. And this is in line with some of the things I'm doing in terms of understanding the ministry. I have requested for all the audit files and paid special attention to this particular audit regarding the national stadium, because I understand this is it's become a national issue. So I want to appeal that this thing will be provided in the soonest. Okay, we give you up to 25th. To provide that to the committee. Audit?
Yes, I think the bone of contention here is not only on the addendum, but as per the regulation, it is the GPPA that has that authority to be approving payments. It's not the ministry as indicated in the management response. I don't know where they get the authority from to approve some of these payments, but GPPA is the approved authority to be approving these payments as indicated in the GPPA regulation.
So are you saying that you are not only querying the evidence of addendum, but the authority?
We're just following up on the management response, but as per the initial query, we quoted the relevant regulations number, that advance payments shall not exceed 50% of the total amount under any circumstance. So once it's more than that, you need to seek GPPA approval, not the ministry approval. It's like the ministry is acting as GPPA.
Yeah, but I want to believe if you are to respond to their management response, that may not only limited to the what is entailed in the response, but actually what they reacted to your recommendation. Do they comply with the recommendation fully or not? So any aspect of the recommendation, if not complied to, you should comment on it. This is addressed, but these are not addressed. But the way it is put, one will believe that the only concern now is limited to evidence of the addendum.
That's correct, Honorable.
Yes. Ministry, can you react to the other position regarding the the authority to give that? Was it, what did you say? The ministry's approval? Huh?
I was saying that it's only GPPA that has that mandate to be approving payments.
Not the ministry.
The ministry.
Yes, ministry. What's your take on that?
Yes, we do concur with the national audit findings on this, and internally we have flagged this internally. We agree that this was a mistake. This is one of the weaknesses that I've come across when we assessing the internal control mechanism we have at the ministry. And we agreed internally that this was an error on the part of the ministry, and this will not happen again.
Then the evidence that you're supposed to provide, you can do so or no before 25th.
Yes, we'll do that.
Honorable members, can we proceed? Okay. Page 143, also for Uran Sports. Overpayment to CFTM in phase 2, indicated in the table, the difference is 1 million, I believe. On that, the auditor recommended that management or advised management to revise the certification and progress reports provided by the supervisors to ensure the right amounts are paid, and that management ensure that reconciliation is made for payments already made against the contract amount. Management response?
Kindly make reference to the payment voucher number 22 PV 2300603 for the 10% payment milestone at an amount of 1,685,881.55.
Audit?
Auditor's comment, management response does not address the finding. The finding remain unresolved. However, Honorable Chair, I can make clarity here also. After the finalization, this issue was brought to our attention, and we work closely with the team and realized that this has been resolved now. It was as a result of reconciliation issue.
So the issue has been reconciled?
It is now resolved, yeah.
Honorable members were informed that the issue is resolved now. So we move to 145, absence of billing document for second phase of project or of the project. And on that, the auditor recommended that management is advised to provide billing documents for the auditor's review and ensure supporting documents are provided for contract and to be confirmed by auditors, as well as in future procurement activities adhere strictly to established competitive bidding procedures and strengthen oversight and accountability mechanism within the procurement function to prevent undue influence and ensure fairness in contractor selections. On that, management response.
Honorable Chair, the second phase does not necessarily require bidding document, as the ministry requested prior approvals from GPPA for additional works. So the same issue here. It is additional works, it is continuation, we didn't see it necessary.
Any
Auditor's comment. The evidence of approval is not provided nor embedded in the initial contract of phase 1, indicating phase 2 will not be tendered or the work will continue in stages as the amount involved meets the threshold for tendering. In conclusion, the finding remain unresolved.
Uran Sports.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chair. The second phase is a continuation, so it does not need to go for retendering, because it's the same companies that is doing the first phase. After the CAF inspection, they bring some additional works. So the time the ministry requests for GPPA approval, but not to retender the work.
audit?
Our position is the evidence of approval was not provided, no embedded in the initial contract of phase 1.
Once again, Iran Sports, what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, the GPP approvals were submitted to the auditors.
This was not provided to us. They didn't indicate it in their management response, so up to the time of finalizing, this information was outstanding as far as the audit team was concerned.
And you answer, you have a copy of those documents?
Yes, and we will resubmit them.
Huh?
Yes, we do.
You
And we
can
will
provide the documents that you claim that we are submitted and they're denied. Then you can provide them to the committee.
Yes, we'll do that.
Honorable?
Sir, let's ask GPP. GPP is here. Did you give approval for this second phase?
I cannot remember. Maybe we take note of it and then provide you with the answer when we come back.
Their response, it says the second phase does not require bidding document as the ministry requests prior approvals from GPP for additional works. In this response, they could have just added, attach is the GPP, whatever. And that would have made everything much easier. So even if they claim that it's not there, you've already indicated I've given it to you. So I think they just need to be looking at the response to respond appropriately, and that would have resolved a lot of issues here.
Okay, that's noted.
Okay. So Iran Sports will provide the documents and GPA also to confirm the approval. Huh? Right? We go to page 147. I know you'll comment. Non-implementation of CAF recommendations. And on that, the audit recommended that management and consultants should provide written report of the justification and relevant documentation outlining why CAF's recommendations were not fully implemented in phase 1 and why phase 2 and 3 initiated without following tendering procedures. My response?
Honorable Chair, it is important to note that the Independence Stadium has been banned by CAF at least twice between 2018 and 2020 upon the expiration of the notice that was given in 2014 to all African countries to improve their stadiums. In the previous bans, the stadium did not, or did minor cosmetic works, get them inspected, and short-term approvals were granted for subsequent matches, including the CAF 2021 qualification matches. In February 2022, CAF issued a general ban for 23 stadiums, adding to previous 10 stadiums in Africa that didn't meet the standards. The first phase of the project was based on the previous recommendations of CAF inspection report. The ministry knows what was expected. However, based on the fact that there was no budget allocation for the renovation of the stadium, the ministry, upon the advice of the stadium management, decided to put the work in phase 1 and 2, with attempts to focus on areas that were considered a must-do as phase 1 to get CAF approval, while phase 2 will be implemented in stages. The scope of the work of phase 1 was therefore based on the above stated facts, with plans as per GFF advice to invite CAF to the Gambia to review what was planned to be carried out as phase
1 and 2. It was called a preliminary inspection. This is what brought CAF, head of professional football department, to the country on 21st July 2023, while the work was in 5th month. Following the pre-inspection by CAF stadium inspector, he recommended that most of the areas planned to be in phase 2 be brought to phase 1, failure of which will make the stadium not to meet the required standards. This recommendation is what caused the ministry with the technical committee to request the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, serving as consultant to do the BOQ for phase 2. Procurement process was followed, and upon approval of GPPA, the contract was extended. After completion of the phase 2, CAF was invited for inspection of the completed works for the stadium. CAF inspection conducted in October 2024 concluded that all the infrastructure were in best standards, except the pitch, which the report indicated needed improvement and supply of the proper pitch maintenance equipment. Additionally, there was another inspection by the head of CAF, Safety and Security, who recommended some improvement, such as increasing the number of CCTV cameras, a disability platform, among other safety and security equipment. This is what led to the creation of phase 3. Please see the attached, the CAF letter dated 1st November 2024 for your information and retention.
Auditor's comment. Management response is noted, but it does not adequately address the above issue, as the initial ban from CAF issued in 2022 highlighted that the stadium as a whole did not meet the international standards of stadium around the world. This prompted the initiation of the contract to remodel the stadium. However, the ministry did not fully implement the recommendations based on the physical inspection and document review by the team. The audit team further requested for the initial inspection report, but was not provided up to the time of finalizing this report.
Well, let me just comment there. I think if you look at the CAF recommendation, it's general, it's not specific. So you just do what you think is important. And one of them is, if you look at the football field, they will say that your football field must be a playable football field. Not necessarily how you going to work on making the football field playable. And all the other areas, based on our expertise in the country. And we have some people who are match commissioners and general coordinators. We use those things to able to improve the standard of the stadium. That's why the works we are divided into first phase to get approval. But when the preliminary inspector came, he said that no, we need to improve here, there. And he was more specific than what CAF issued as a general regulation.
The ministry did not fully implement the recommendation based on fiscal inspection and documentation reviewed by the team. And what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think the CAF recommendation should have been submitted. I don't know why it's not submitted.
The CAF recommendation?
Yeah.
Did you submit that to the auditors?
No, I did not deal with the auditors. It was the ministry dealing with the auditors.
The ministry, was that provided to the auditors?
I will make inquiries on that, and I know the document is available. We can submit it, but I'm not sure whether it was submitted.
Yeah, that is the CAF inspection report.
Yes.
Huh? Yeah, that's what the audit made mention, that the initial inspection report was not provided for the inspection. Can that be provided?
Honorable Chair, we even have it in our possession right here. So it's not something that.
If you don't mind, you can tender that to the audit, to the committee and for the audit.
Yes.
Soft copy or hard copy?
Soft copy.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
That's the CAF inspection report.
Yes.
Hmm?
So I think there are different reports.
Yeah?
There are different reports, about 3 reports. The first
Can
report
we have
was,
all of them?
yes, was the banning of the stadium and the general requirements. The second report is the preliminary
Can we have
report
all of them? Yeah.
and the security report. All those 3 can be submitted.
Yeah, you can provide all of them, then
Yes.
we'll forward it to the auditors.
Because this was submitted to Sarata by when the subcommittee came to the stadium. I submitted all these documents. This one is from Fpac, okay. Yeah, yes.
And if we get a report, then we'll be able to establish whether the CAF recommendations were fully implemented or not. That's the argument of the auditors. Okay? That can only be confirmed independently by the team in the report. Yes?
I just want to ask, because about this stadium, it has taken some time now, and really, it's really affecting our football. So I just want to know what is the current status as far as this CAF recommendation is concerned, because I was thinking if CAF should recommend for standard improvement, at least there should be a guidelines, so that at least we can be able to follow. Then you invest, then later they come, they disapprove all the efforts you put. So I don't know what is the current status, whether there is an assurance that when they come back, at least they will be able to approve our stadium, so that at least we can enjoy our national team playing.
Yeah, I will advise that. I think that's a very good question and observation. If the director on the ministry can give us comprehensive update on the status of the independent stadium, so that it can form part of our report. Yeah, orally you can do so, but in writing also, we'll give you up to 25th. Huh?
We are having the presentation because we did it with the monitoring committee. We have the presentation available.
Monitoring. That's for monitoring. This for Fpac.
Yeah, I mean we have the presentation available to us right now. We can even.
No problem. Can you forward that to as well?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honorable Chair, I want to say this with. I want to say this with some degree of certainty that we are on progress. We are on track. If all goes well and we get the payments on time, this stadium should be ready for inspection again by CAF. What happens is when you finish your work, you invite CAF to come and inspect again. We are very hopeful that by April, all works out, April, May, end of April, all work should be completed and we should be able to invite CAF to come and do inspection. And then we will have to wait another 60 days. Yes. After the works, we have 60 days to invite them, and then from there we can allow international matches to take place.
Yeah,
Then all that can be found in the update.
Yeah, just to add what he said.
No, we want to be clear.
Yes,
If what is advancing is not in the update, can you make an addendum to that?
Okay.
Yeah,
people
will be eager to know when are we going to start football at the stadium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Currently, the progress of work is at 70%. Yeah, the football field. So we are waiting for the arrival of the containers for the running tracks. We suppose that the container will arrive on the 18th of this month for installation.
And when it's installed, by March, it can be accessible?
Maybe by end of April.
You know I'm athletics biased.
Yes. Ah, okay. Okay.
If you say end of month, I want to say that by March we have the inter-school finals being conducted there. Unfortunately, that is Ramadan. Oh God, yes.
Yes. I think we only have two areas that is outstanding for the stadium. That is the football pitch and the athletic tracks.
Okay.
Because we take into consideration that we cannot just work for football and it affects athletics. That's why we are doing both now. And as he said, it's about 76% for the football field, and hopefully our next international match will be played in the Gambia.
When?
The CAF qualifiers.
When?
That will be in September.
September.
Yes.
Good. Hmm?
At the moment, there's no outstanding payment. However, for the record.
So you provide the update, those documents and then the progress of the work. If what we are recently explaining, if it's already not there already, maybe you can provide that as an addendum. Okay? Can we go to page 150? Lack of proper contract planning was noted by the auditors, and they recommend that management provide all the details regarding amendments and approve addendum. Response?
The phases of the project we have initiated following every stage of CAF inspection report recommendations. The approval for each phase of the project was signed only after the approval from GPPA as requested. Please note that additional works and cost was anticipated due to the fact that what was being done in phase 1 was not the only required standards. However, there was an expert advice that phase 1 would have been enough to get an approved stadium until we were told otherwise by CAF.
Audit?
Auditor's comment. The finding remain unresolved. For the fact that CAF clearly stated the standard of the stadium expected, and the ministry relying on an expert advice was not seen highlighted in any of the contractual documents.
Ministry, expert advice is not part of the contract. Huh? CAF is very clear of the standard. So just follow the CAF standard, not Gambian expert advice. Right?
Honorable Chair, it will be, I think it's important to note that two of our experts are also members of CAF inspection team. So they know, they do inspect football stadiums from other countries. So they are part of the team. So we don't necessarily 100% rely on their advice, but it's good to, at least we have some people who have an idea of what we should expect from CAF.
What you can report to the auditors cannot be on the basis of your internal expert advice, but the CAF advice or CAF decision. If it's to be your internal audit, I think their independence will be in question. They should have independent position. They are part of GFF or stadium management or ministry. They cannot give you that independent position. So you should leave that for CAF to determine that, and you provide that to the auditors. Right? The confirmation on the CAF standard should be only vested on CAF, not an independent body. So what's your take on that?
That's noted.
Can we go to page 152? Contract extension without due process is also flagged by the auditors, and the amounts involved in the phases 153,162,672.25 and 83,005,868.83. On that, the audit recommended that project extension must be formalized through a documented variation order and approved in line with procurement procedures to ensure transparency and compliance. Management response?
The contract extension to cover phase 2 and later phase 3 followed the required procurement procedures. In both extensions, a scope was identified based on a CAF recommendation and a BOQ developed by the Ministry of Works. This BOQ and scope is usually discussed at the technical committee level, contract committee before sending all required documents to GPPA for consideration. In both phases, GPPA approved the awarding of the contract to the contractors before the addendum to the contract extension is signed. Please see the attached letters from GPPA dated 13th February 2024, phase 2, 22nd May 2025, phase 3, with references GPPA/MOYS/TR1/22 and GPPA/MOYS/TR2/25 respectively.
Audit?
Auditor's comment. The findings remain unresolved. The audit team requested for the technical and contract committee meeting minutes, both soft and hard copy, but it was not provided up to the time of finalizing this report.
Sports?
These minutes are available and we will provide them to the National Audit Office.
I just want to understand, because for me, these are just very simple matters, more of administratively. So I don't know why this thing can be provided at the time of the audit, because this is just going to waste papers and ink. You know, you have it, give them, and this of the report. Because when somebody looks at it, you think that maybe this is not done, or you are hiding something, whatever. For me, if it is available, just give them, and then you may not even see the query again. You know, so I don't know why, and it seems it's very consistent. They ask for minutes or something, they don't provide. But when they come here, they say, oh yeah, we'll bring. So I really don't understand that. If you have it, I mean, why do you want to just hold on to it? Yeah.
I think where the breakdown happened is that the ministry is saying that they have made provision of some of these documents to the audit. However, when they were submitted, the audit did not come back with this report. They did not know that this was finalized. In fact, at the level of the ministry, they thought still this is in progress. It was not finalized. So they will not know whether what they have submitted was verified or was received by the audit or not. But then later, before coming here, we did make our own internal inquiries to find out that these documents are readily available. They are there. So my team is saying we've submitted it, and the auditors are saying we couldn't find it. But then I don't just take what my team is telling me. I just went further to make sure that I have physical, verification of this document is there in my office right now.
Okay, you can provide them. Honorable?
We will provide.
Chair, just I want to read these two together. The last sentence in the findings. The auditors note that the auditor said it was further noted that there was no addendum prepared and approved by GPPA. This was the observations of the auditors. Now, if you go to the management response, in the management response, I would read the last sentence, which should be on page 153. It reads, In both phases, GPPA approved the awarding of the contracts to the contractors before an addendum to the contract extension is signed. Please see attached letters from GPPA dated 13th February 2024 and 22nd of March 2025. So these two they're not speaking the same language, right? They are contradictory. But my question to the auditors would be, if at all these two letters indicating approval from GPPA was provided to you, would you have still come up with the audit finding?
This would have been resolved. However, we are also asking for the, this was just indicated in their management response, but the copies of these letters were not provided to us. However, we are also asking for the technical and contract committee meetings, which will clearly mention that this was indeed provided. They were making some sort of monitoring on the affairs of the Independence Stadium.
Because, Chair, where I'm noting this, the intention for convergence here is not only to look at what could be done better, but or what was done differently, but to come out with ways as to see how do we improve on it. Because if you look at the findings substantively, you would see that the auditors are coming up with an amount in phase 2 of 153 million and an amount in phase 3 of 83 million. Anybody who lays his hands on this would just amplify it. Are we together? Okay? We just amplify it. When, in a sense, someone is saying you've done the needful, and the documentations are there, and the actual authority who should review that is saying the documents are not provided to me. And this is where we need GPPA. This is exactly where we need you, because traditionally, this is your mandate, because naturally you would have been in a position to review all those contract committee meetings before giving out any approval, making sure that whatever needs to be done is done before you approve it. So now let's say approval was done. If approval was done, meaning the stadium have met all the benchmarks, but yet still the value is out there. Altogether. So I'm bringing up all these layers so that we can clean our books the way they are supposed to. Do the right thing. Every institution, you do what you are supposed to do. So that tomorrow, if things come up, we can hold people accountable. But again, we do not amplify things outside which do not hold water. So I will take the baton to you. Was this approval granted?
Honorable, the fact that they have provided letters and make reference to the right letters, I want to believe that approval is given. Well, approval was given. And when before we approve transactions like these, there are certain things that we look at. And the key among them is the minutes at which the contracts committee must have met and agreed to the said course of action before we approve. So definitely here, I can rely on the letters to say that approval is granted. But then, like the other transactions, I think you allow us so that we go and then make clarification. We try to verify that report back. But I strongly believe that based on the letters that they submitted, approval was granted, and approval must have been based on certain things, including the provision of minutes of contracts committee agreeing to what they have done.
Thank you, Chair. Just finally, so what I would like to say here is, I would still take it to GPPA, because these audited financial statements and the management letters have been out for quite some time now. Your presence here, is born out of the need for, which means you should have also interrogated the management letters know the findings and provide us clarity. Because when we meet in this hall, we are supposed to provide answers to the people. So I would encourage you, go through the remaining years, look at areas that are dealing with procurement. If at all there are documentations to be provided in front of the committee, you bring them. But moving forward, it will be very, very important if you take up that responsibility and then reduce the workload from the National Audit Office and be responsible for the compliance. It is good if at all there are discrepancies, we bring them because we need to hold each other accountable. But it will be also unfair for things to be amplified out there in the public space, which we have done rightly. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, I think, I don't know what is the procedure right now, but if management response is submitted to the National Audit Office and they interrogate it and they find out that what is stated in the management response is not what they have in their office, I don't know, I don't think they should stop there. They can consult with the sectors in concern and say, well, this is what you said, but this is not what we have. So that would save us. We submitted it, oh, we don't have. Because I mean, this is already printed here. Anybody looking at it will say, well, this is what the auditors are saying, and then the sectors are saying we have submitted. And I don't think it should happen that way. When management responses are submitted to the National Audit Office, the National Audit look at it, and do their own internal assessment. If these letters you made reference to here are not in their files, they can say, well, you indicated this, but we don't have this. Then the ministry would have provided before it appears on this report.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Just to react to the point raised by the PS. PS audit is a process. Before you do any issue a management letter, there must have been a lot of consultations. And essentially, once we issue our engagement letter, we do invite, we do inform Accountant General to write to all sectors so that they attend the entrance meeting. The importance of the entrance meeting cannot be overemphasized because it set the tone for every audit. If you are absent in the entrance and exit meeting, you'll miss a lot. Most of these things occurring or appearing in the management letter should not have appeared in the management letter in the first instance if sectors were very proactive during the audit. But oftentimes you'll conclude and sectors will come up with their documentations and say this, we are not engaged. Remember that we are auditing the consolidated government accounts of the Gambia, and the key institution that we normally interact is the Accountant General. That is where we hold entrance meetings, and if we have any queries, we channel them through the Accountant General for onward submission to the relevant sectors. So this is what we have been doing, and of late in 2024, we have also extended meeting with some of these sectors. We have had meetings with NRA, GRA, and to a very large extent, some of these issues were minimized. I believe with collaboration and of course cooperation from the auditors, we'll be able to resolve this in the very near future, now that we have cleared the backlog. But it's also important for sectors to be very interested in audit, because if you are not interested or you are not reacting, I do understand, I do know that Accountant General normally write to all the sectors that the audit comments, but sometimes they are also left alone. So they cannot answer all these questions without your active involvement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Just to buttress on what my colleague has said, I think it's important for the our stakeholders to be proactive and be interested in what we do. As she cited 2024. Of course, between us and accountant general, I think we are able to successfully drive the process, but it's not sustainable. For us also, we have a lot of activities to carry out. So we want to employ you to be at least proactive in whatever we do. As we said, the audit is a process, and we always provide the opportunity for MDAs to respond to our query. Like the life cycle of the audit finding starts with an issue. If you identify an issue, then you develop it as an audit query and share it whilst you are in the field. So if it does not resolve, then you, find itself in the management letter, draft management letter. Still, opportunity for discussion before it finds itself into a draft. All these things that we do, but you are all, most of the auditors are interested at the point of when we are about to come to the National, when we are here in the National Assembly. So please, develop interest whilst we are in the field, doing the field work. Thank you.
The contractual deadline was not met primarily due to the unavailability of funds and delay by the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs in disbursing payments once funds were allocated. The ministry has no control over this, as the stadium renovation did not have a budget allocation and has to wait for the Ministry of Finance to secure funds from other sources. Other factors that contributed to the delay is the fact that pavement slab production factories for hard landscaping did not have enough capacity to produce in mass as needed by the contractors. There is no risk associated with the cost of stadium renovation. Stadium renting for international matches. Morocco, where Gambia plays its matches, offered all the countries in Africa without approved stadiums to play their matches there if they so wished.
National audit.
Auditor's comment. The finding remains unresolved. However, the comment provided on budget constraint was not evident in any of the progress reports prepared, as the budget constraints should have been highlighted there.
Sport. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, in the progressive report, it was indicated there the delay was caused by the release of the funds from Ministry of Finance and also the production of the hard landscaping pavements slabs, because the factories that are producing this hard landscaping bricks were limited, so they don't produce larger quantities that the contractor need.
Did you provide a report to the auditors?
Yeah, we will provide it. No. The previous, yes, we submitted all the progressive report.
Did you receive them?
Yes, what we're saying, this was not included in the progress report that were
I just
submitted.
want you to confirm. You
Yes.
just said it's included. I only want you to confirm whether you should receive. You are saying, you've heard it well. They say it's not
Submit it.
You will resubmit. And it is there. Okay. Also 25th. Huh? Can we proceed to 156? Deficiencies in progress reports by consultants. That was noted, and the auditor recommended enforce strict controls and also implement a robust monitoring and verification system, as well as conduct training for project supervisors and reporting personnel on proper documentations. Management response?
All the progressive reports provided were for the Independence Stadium project and not related to another project. The ministry have not seen any report from Ministry of Works that has a mention of Guy Construction Road project.
Audit?
Honorable, this one will allow it to go because we, at the time it was seen, but we didn't photocopy the progress report for this particular activity. So I believe we have to accept. We have to accept that this has been resolved. Because even if they provide now, we would not be able to argue, because we should have photocopied the progress report so that we compare what they are saying and what is it.
So what was supposed to
it has been resolved. It has been resolved.
It is resolved. Okay, members, can we move? Page 158, unjustified single source procurement. That is noted, and under the audit recommended, contract committee should have follow up on competitive bidding unless valid justification for single source is documented and approved. Bureau and Sports.
Honorable Chair, this allocation of GM $10 million was done in 2020 to enable the stadium to do some renovation work. This was prior to the proper remodeling. The Independence Stadium is a subvented institution under the ministry, and these funds were paid to them to implement that proposed renovation work. Therefore, we advise that you treat this as it would be a normal fund allocation to the subvented institution, and to redirect this query to the Independence Stadium management.
National Audit.
Auditor's comment, the finding remains unresolved, as the audit confirmed that the procurements were single source, despite the value exceeding the threshold requiring competitive tendering and indications of potential deaggregation of bypass procurement rules.
So you don't agree with them for the it should be redirected to Independence Stadium management?
I think I believe the submission made is not adding up, because even if you are subvented, it doesn't mean that you should not follow the procurement rules. Irrespective of whether it's cash allocation or subvention, the procurement rules are there to be followed.
Honorable Chair, I think there is some misunderstanding here. This 10 million was allocated to the Independence Stadium. It has nothing to do with the ministry. We did not implement the renovation works for the stadium. The stadium was audited for that 2020, and you have the audit report here. Yes, 2020. And this 10 million was indicated in that audit report. So our surprise is why is the ministry being audited for this 2020 allocation to the Independence Stadium? In fact, our audit period was supposed to be from 2020 to 2023. This 10 million was allocated to the Independence Stadium in 2020.
The payment is for subvention to the Independence Stadium management, right?
For the renovation of the stadium.
For the renovation.
Yes, it was directly.
Independence Stadium management is the direct beneficiary, and they too are supposed to provide their management latest report to the committee as well. they are audited, and then their report is independently provided to the committee. That's what I'm trying to establish.
That's exactly right. When
the subvention
yes
was given to them.
Yes.
So instead, the audit is auditing the ministry on a subvention that they have given to a subvented institution.
Well, I think a bit of clarity is needed here. As part of the renovation of the Independence Stadium, the first amount that was disbursed was the 10 million. That they indicated that it was for the cosmetic, just cosmetic of the renovation. After the 10 million, they had what they call a phase 1. Funds were disbursed. You also have phase 2 and phase 3. So you cannot separate this thing. Irrespective of where it is coming, we just want to connect to say that this is where the money, history of, you need to bring the history of the disbursement that are made to the Independence Stadium so that you know the total amount that was spent. So if you exclude the 10 million, because if you exclude it, there are some works that were done in the 10 million that relates to phase 1 and also phase 2. They can confirm that.
The 10 million was purposely for Independence Stadium rehabilitation or construction work, right, Ministry?
Yes, it was not part of the remodeling and rehabilitation of the stadium. That was the first amount allocated to the stadium to do rehabilitation for us to complete our qualifiers.
Yes.
And your first AFCON qualifiers.
Okay.
And when that finished, that's when CAF decided to ban the stadiums, and then that's when the rehabilitation and remodeling started. And that 10 million is audited by Augustus Pro.
And that was managed by the Independence
Stadium? It was
Stadium?
managed by the Independence Stadium.
Management?
Yes, that's why it's audited by Augustus Pro. We have the auditor's report and the management letter from Augustus Pro.
We found that according to them, that was already audited by their audit firm.
Well, it's up to the committee now to decide on that. But all what we want to bring in is that it's like you're dealing with a set. You talk about the universal set and you have items within that set. So will you be wrong to say that this was not part of the entire universal set? Of course, yes, we acknowledge that it was audited separately, but they should have gone through the follow the procurement rules. So the fact that say the argument they are forwarding, I don't think that is something that we query. We said it doesn't follow single source procurement, but they are saying this was given to Independence Stadium.
Single source procurement procedure, I think that can be vested on the management that was overseen that particular fund, the execution of that particular fund. If it's directly under the ministry, yes, they are the one that should adhere to that. But if it's for the Independent Stadium management, that is vested on the Independent Stadium management to ensure that they comply with that. Anyway, the committee will save an opinion on that. Honorable?
Yes, what I wanted to say is this, like the response indicated, they are a sovereign institution. Now, if the 2020 audit of the Independence Stadium, the 10 million is accounted for and then audited, and if the auditor, whoever audited it is Augustus Prom, has flagged this issue, then I would suggest that we leave that to the committee. I think you are a member of the committee to deal with. However, if the auditor, Augustus Prom, did not touch on that, I think this is something that you need to look at, because it seems there are three different things. You have the pre-phases, which is 10 million before the phase 1 started. Then you have the phase 2, phase 3, etc. So that's it. So because I have not seen this, because this one is going to come to us anyway. So I don't know, because right now it's going to be very difficult to say, because we don't have the audit accounts before us. So it's going to be really very difficult whether they have accounted for the 10 million in the account they have. However, if we think that we can wait until they submit this to us, then we can deal with it.
They are not scheduled as far as this session is concerned. I'm not sure whether Independence Stadium is part of the schedule. I'm not sure. But it is confirmed that that money was paid to the subvented to Independence Stadium and then audited by their audit firm. And of course, whether now or later, they'll be reporting to the committee.
Yeah.
The issue, according to the auditor, partly is on whether Independence Stadium or the ministry supposed to be accountable for the particular fund. But what the ministry is saying, they subvented to the Independence Stadium, so they should be accountable. That is that. Now the issue of the authority to single source. Fine, they are not questioning whether they have authority or not having the authority, but they're subvented. So the one that is in custody of the fund should be questioned whether he has the authority for single sourcing or otherwise. I think this is the point of agreement. Am I right, Pierce?
Honorable Chair, I think it is important to note that the funds were not even channeled through the ministry. The funds were coming directly from the Ministry of Finance to the Independence Stadium. So the ministry did not even see the fund. They did not do the procurement on behalf of the Independence Stadium. And under normal circumstance, our subvention will come to the ministry and then we'll give our subvention.
But this particular fund was not paid to the ministry?
No.
To subvent it to?
No.
What is called? Independence Stadium?
No.
But direct from finance?
It was directly from finance. That's what I'm told, yes.
To Naka, what is his name? Independence Stadium?
Yes.
Oh, fine. I get the point.
Chair.
Very interesting.
Chair, you know, the auditors are looking at the intent of the 10 million disbursement.
I know.
And if we put that aside, you would fail to see the language they are speaking. There are two layers to it. Whether the money have passed through Ministry of Sports or not is irrelevant at this point. First, what we need to ask ourselves is, that particular 10 million, what was the intention for? I think that question needs to be answered. Once it is answered, we'll be able to know whether it was a subvention or not. Okay? We cannot treat it like any other allocation. So I will ask the players, what was the purpose of the 10 million?
When it comes to renovation work at the Independence Stadium, the first one was prior to the CAF competition in Cameroon. Independence Stadium was required to do some maintenance work in order for us to play our matches here. And they did that. This 10 million was for that purpose. And they did that. Our matches were played here, we qualified, we went, fine. But then in preparation for AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire, this is where the ban came in. As of August of 2025, still there are 23 countries, Gambia included, that are still, the ban is still pending. So we are not alone in this. And if you look at what we spend on our renovation work, is very, very, very minimal compared to what other countries are spending. For example, Senegal, our neighbor, is spending over 260 million euros compared to our $5 million that we spend on our renovation work. So there are two things. People need to separate the two. The first one was to qualify us to allow our matches to play here for the AFCON in Cameroon. That we qualified. We played all the matches. Then that's when the ban came in for the second AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire. And that's where we started all this.
So the intention for the disbursement of the 10 million is solely and wholly for the renovation of the stadium. Is that correct? The mic.
Yes.
That is correct. So, Chair, this was not a subvention. The intention for the disbursement was solely for the renovation of the stadium. So now, the issue here now is, you will not be looking at the books of the stadium yet. Okay? We need to understand why did the Ministry of Finance send it straight to Ministry of Sports. I know the parent ministry must have been in consultation. They would know. Okay? So, I think what the auditors are saying, we can't hold the stadium, the independent stadium, solely responsible. The ministry have a role to play. They must have facilitated for the fund. They knew it was what, for procurement, for renovation. They should have ensured that the needful was done. So it's not sufficient to say the funds were just from the Ministry of Finance and sent to the stadium, and it is what being audited in the books of the stadium. No, we'll get to that, but let us get this one clear. So now the issue is, PS again, why were the procurement rules not followed? I'm saying this with absolute authority, taking cue from your previous responses, where you followed the procurement rules, you normally indicate them in what your management responses. But this particular one, there is no indication from your management response.
To determine whether procurement rules are followed or not, you must have the documents before you. The ministry does not participate in this procurement, so that we don't have any documentation in our ministry to determine whether the procurement rules are followed or not. Let me tell you, this was...
allow me. Yeah. I just want to limit it to this discussion. Who facilitated for the disbursement of the 10 millions to the stadium?
I would not know that. I would not know that.
Even
if it was the ministry, no. Let's say the ministry. Okay.
No, let us not say the ministry. Yes. Here we work on facts. You not knowing does not mean the facts don't exist. If you don't know, it's sufficient to say I don't know. Yeah. We'll ask people who know. We can verify from the manager. So who facilitated the disbursement of the 10 million from the Ministry of Finance to the stadium?
If I'm corrected, it's the ministry that facilitated it, yes.
Please get the right information. If you want to consult with the manager, you can.
That's just telling me now that it was the ministry that facilitated.
It was the ministry who facilitated. We'd be rightly placed to say then it should be in the interest of the ministry to know that that $10 million was judiciously utilized for the intended purposes.
Well, the ministry knows that for the intended purposes it has been achieved because the damages were allowed, the ban was lifted, and we proceeded. So
now here we are. Yeah. Here we are. In the audit process, people are saying documentations are missing. Should it not be equally the interest of the ministry to ensure that those documentations are in place rather than shifting the blame ball here? What I want us to do is accept the response.
No, Honorable, with all due respect.
Can I land?
Yeah.
Can I land? It's not a confrontation. Allow me to finish. With due respect, you'll have your say. What we want here is this. The ministry facilitated the funds, the funding for the renovation. You are confident that the renovation is done. The auditors have flagged it. You've been confident that the work is done, which means you are satisfied with the procurement process, which means you know that documentations exist. So instead of saying we don't do it, X do it, or Y do it, this particular stadium is under the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Why not take the entire documentation, place it in front of the auditors, satisfy the query, and it is out of our books? Is that difficult for the ministry to do? To get the documentation from the stadium? I'm ready.
Honorable, when you say the auditors have flagged it, which auditors are you referring to? The National Audit have flagged it, I can understand that. But then this institution was audited previously and it was not flagged. So if we are auditing the same issue twice, there is what we call jeopardy. This thing has been audited already, and now a national audit comes. In fact, the national audit is supposed to audit the ministry from 2022, 2023, not 2020. 2020. And we did not see it flagged in the Augustus Prom audit report. So national flag, I think the reason why national audit flagged it, I think because of their misunderstanding, they are trying to put the two projects together. The first renovation works and then the second renovation works. I think that could be one of the reasons why they flagged it. For us, we are seeing it as two different projects. this first project was done, 10 million was utilized, and then CAF came with the ban, and there was a second phase of the projects. That's what our understanding is. So maybe national audit, it could not separate the two. They just merge them together and say, okay, they need to flag this.
And now we'll make it simple, because I think, no, Chair, just last up, I think I understand you. The auditors who audited the stadium, their failure to flag it doesn't mean that another auditor cannot flag it. Even myself, the clothes I put on yesterday are different from the one I'm putting on today. The clothes I might put on at the assembly might be different from the ones I'll put on when I'm going to the playing ground. And again, these two people are auditing from different stations. The stadium is the expending authority. The government is the one who gave out the money for a specified purpose. And the purpose was for what? Renovation. So whosoever is auditing the books of the government needs to see those documents relating to what? Procurement. Altogether. So I think the misunderstanding you have is it was audited by other people. We didn't spend it. Yes, you didn't spend it, but you spent it in fact, because you gave out the money. So the auditors need to be satisfied that the purpose for which the money was being disbursed have been what? Realized. I don't know whether you understand. So the two are different. They are auditing from different angles. Okay, so this is it. We'll just make this very, very simple. Since you've confirmed that the work is done, so I'll propose through the chair that the authority of the Independence Stadium provides all the necessary documents relating to the renovations of the 10 million. That will close this chapter. But to say it was not audited by those two, the auditors who audited the stadium and it is audited by NAO are two different checkpoints. Do you understand? They are totally different.
Well, is it right to say that you are saying failure by Augustus come to flag that? We are not sure.
Oh, no,
maybe
auditors
don't
misconstrue me.
Maybe Augustus Crom had all the documents.
Sorry, allow him to learn, yes.
Maybe Augustus Crom, when they look at the supporting documents, they were satisfied. They know that they did not violate the procurement rules. But then, I don't think we should just assume that they did not failure to flag it. And secondly, we did not, based on what I'm being told, we did not disburse these funds to the Independence Stadium. The funds were directly from the Ministry of Finance to the Independence Stadium accounts. So again, when you said you disbursed the funds, we did not.
Honorable member, let's pick it from there. What we can establish is that when you indicated that Independence Stadium is a subvented institution, and again, the money was directly paid to the Independence Stadium Management Fund, and subvention to the Independence Stadium are paid to the ministry, for the ministry to pay to the subvented institution. Then this cannot be counted on the fund meant for subvention. I think that is established. If it's on the basis of subvention, if the money was paid directly to Independence Stadium accounts directly, and the ministry is relying on, it's a subvented institution. So this money is counted by the ministry on the subvention institution. The money did not come to the ministry as a subvented fund. So the aspect of subvention is now ruled out. The money is paid to Independence Stadium for what purpose? For the purpose of renovation of the Independence Stadium. Whether the ministry is directly managing the fund or not, but it's paid for the Independence Stadium rehabilitation. Who was responsible for that? The management of the Independence Stadium. So if the ministry cannot provide the documents and the management is directly under you, you can put it to them to provide those documents for auditing. I think as simple as that. But the aspect of subvention, that is out of it. The fund was not for subvention fund. The fund from the ministry to management for renovation, if the auditors are auditing the aspect of renovation, it cannot be part and they're leaving the other part. Whoever is responsible, if not the ministry, it must be or it was the management the management should provide those information, if not directly, but indirectly. Honorable?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just to make a quick clarification. My statement or my reference to failure does not in any way, or should not in any way be interpreted as an inefficiency on the side of Augustus Prom. It's simply making inferences as to what is being presented on the audited financial statements. I am not in any way, I do not have any authority, or I'm not in any position to determine whether they have evaluated that transaction and it have passed their threshold of what being compliance. Okay? That failure is basically on what is being presented on the financial statements. Now coming to the facts. We will not, and for that I'm saying with certainty, we would not set the bar with regards to what the National Audit Office will do by taking reference from any other auditor's work, like we wouldn't do the reverse. These are two separate audit institutions. The interest of the National Audit Office in flagging that particular transaction is born out of the need that indeed those were government funds, and the intention for the payment of that 10 million was established. And the only way that you can audit the books of the government and be satisfied with that expenditure is to have the supportive documents. And that's simply what they are asking for. So in answering that question, do not even bring in the audit that was done by Augustus Pro. This one will not be subject to discussion. Would not be subject to discussion. Both of you were spending officers. It so happens that, fine, you are looking at it as what? An allocation from one government ministry to the other. But it's different. The government paid to you, and you pay to who? The contractors. So now the auditors who are auditing the government, they need to know that whether the intention of that payment was realized. Give them the documentation. Even though it was paid by the Ministry of Finance. But the Ministry of Youth and Sport is not under the Ministry of Finance. And the management just informed you that the negotiations were done by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So the stadium is not under finance, which puts the responsibility directly in your hands. As the PS, you might not be there before, but government offices are operated on the basis of continuity. So you have the opportunity here. Get the documentation from the management and submit it to the auditors. And let us do the needful. And for the audit financial statements of Augustus Prom, that cannot be used as a justification here. The two are totally different. Okay? Chair, submit. So I want to propose that I want to make a proposal to propose that we ask the PS to submit the documentations for that 10 million to the committee on or before the 25th of what? February.
Yeah, as indicated earlier on, PS, this fund is not regarded as the subvented fund, and it's a special fund provided by the ministry to the management on the basis of the rehabilitation. So the audit has to cover that, and all the documents needed for the audit should be provided. If at all this fund was subvented fund, then you can consider that to be part of the audit to be conducted on the independent stadium management for subvented fund given to them. But here it's not, you mentioned it's not a subvented fund, then it cannot be treated under that. So all documents relating to the fund should be provided for the auditors to verify, and we are giving you up to 25th to provide that to the committee for onward submission to the auditors.
Mr. Chair, can I make an observation here since you are asking us to submit the document?
You are welcome.
If you look at page 158, where it stated that, however, the Ministry of Youth and Sports performed the single sourcing without GPPA approval. That is confusing me as PS of the ministry, that we performed the single sourcing without the GPPA approval.
Who awarded the contract?
We did not award any contract.
Yeah, I just asked who awarded the contract.
It's the stadium management.
The stadium management.
Yes.
Yes, stadium management.
Yes, it was stadium management, and it was not single source because there were different aspects of the.
It was stadium management who awarded the.
Yes, contract.
Contracts,
not contract. Contracts. Yes.
Different contracts.
Different.
And all those contracts, they were awarded with single source.
No.
No single, but this one was flagged that it was awarded with single source.
With the ministry, yes.
This one?
Yes, with the ministry, but not with the stadium. The stadium was...
No. The stadium is saying, ministry is saying stadium, and stadium is saying ministry, which is...
No, because this is from the, this is a query for the ministry.
Yes,
not to the
but
stadium.
the ministry is putting to us that the query should not be meant for them.
Yes.
But rather
it should be meant for the stadium.
The stadium.
Yes.
And I ask you, who awarded the contract?
For the maintenance.
For this one, yes.
It's the stadium.
It's the stadium.
Yes.
So the stadium was responsible for the single sourcing.
There was no single source.
We don't know. Yeah, no, whether it was there or not.
On this query, yes. You
Stadium
can
was
say yes.
responsible.
On this query, yes.
Stadium was responsible. Auditors, independent state management is confirming that they are the ones, whether single source or no single source.
Not a single source.
But
Not
they
a
are the
single
ones who
source.
awarded the contract.
We are not confirming the single source.
Now I will come to single
because
source.
There was no single source. But for the contracts, yes.
Don't worry, we'll come to single source. We will not lead. The independent stadium is confirming that they awarded the contract, whether single source or not, that's one thing. So now, if independent stadium awarded the contract, and then whether it was single source or not, who should take the responsibility? Nakala ministry, yes, I will come. In the ministry or independent stadium? Yeah? Naka, what's his name? Auditors?
Well, since they have acknowledged that they received the fund, they will be accounted for it. But however, you cannot separate the ministry with the independent stadium. It's one and the same. Because it's the parent ministry. So,
Mr. Chair, this document here, the wording is, we should be concerned about the wording on this. This is a national document.
Yes.
And if it reads, however, the Ministry of Youth and Sports performed the single sourcing without GPP approval. From a layman point of view, reading this document, you would think that the ministry implemented this and didn't follow the rules. So let's.
I can't want to come in.
It's not proper.
Chair, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think in this matter, we should look at the substance of the issue that is that we're discussing at hand. The matter is for single sourcing. If whether Ministry of Youth and Sports or the stadium, if single sourcing was done, yes or no? If it was not done, yes or no? Then we know. Because now, if we ask Ministry of, let's say we say Youth and Sports, and Youth and Sports feels that it is not them, but it's the independent stadium, who is on the Ministry of whatever, Ministry of Youth and Sports, they can just reach out to Youth and Sports and then find out. If it is not there, you know, it's not about, you know, it's you or me, but if it is there, fine, then the matter will be resolved. If it is not there, then let's look at resolving it, or what do we do going forward? Yeah.
It was single source or not.
Yes.
Let's establish that. Let's establish that. Independent Stadium.
Mr. Chair, this is not a single activity. If you look at the audit report, the same page, the scoreboard, the football ground, the public address system, a series of activities. So when you say single source, are we summarizing to say all these were single source? So
all these are within the 10 million.
Are all within the 10 million.
Yeah, we are talking about the 10 million.
So it's not, when you say single source, you are like saying one particular activity.
Now they are referring to all this.
Yes.
They are referring to all this. Whether they are listed or not, they are referring to. So what we want to establish, whether there was an act of single sourcing or not. Management.
PS said there are so many activities, projects that we are carried out, like the scoreboard, the football field. You cannot single source somebody doing a scoreboard and a football field. They are totally different. If you want to do the CCTV, they are different. The dressing rooms, they are different. So there we are different.
Yes, can we take it one by one? Scoreboard.
Scoreboard.
Yes.
Scoreboard, it was allocated to coaches' investment. That was
it bidded?
No, but we had the approval from GPPA.
It was not bidded?
No.
Approval from GPPA. GPPA will respond to that.
Yes.
Football ground.
Football.
Yes, how much?
For the scoreboards, I can't remember. I can't remember offhand.
Okay, you can find that out.
Yeah.
Football ground.
Yeah.
You said you
separately.
We
will submit all the documents separately. All of them we are done separately. All the GPPA approval will be provided. Everything can be provided.
Okay, so that one you said GPPA approval.
Yes.
It was single source based on GPPA approval.
Yes.
And then the football ground.
The football ground, I can't remember offhand.
You can report on that.
Yeah, I will provide all. We will provide all the documentation.
Public address system.
The same, separately.
Separately.
I think that was from, if I can look at the document.
Take your time, report on it.
We'll submit all the documents and even
just confirm what you can confirm.
Yes.
Spectator toilet.
Just hold on for a second. Let me. The PS system, I think it was from Yaya Malang.
Aya?
Yaya Malang.
Yaya?
Malang.
Mara.
Yes.
Was it, it was single source?
It was 3 different companies. 3 different people bid.
It was single source?
No. It was 3 different.
Three different companies bid?
Yes.
And then they were the winners?
They were the winners. Yaya Malang. This was just about $143,000.
Okay. So dressing room also was bidded?
Yes, dressing room was done by, it was different because the plumbing was done by Moduso. Different.
Moduso and?
Moduso Enterprise.
And who?
And you have Jali Enterprise that did the painting.
Was it bidded?
Yes, we have different bidders. All these things can be provided because the amount is not for tendering; it was for
fiber gold post.
It's for 3 quotations.
Fiber gold post. Fiber gold post.
Fiber gold post. Let me see. No, I can't remember that.
Okay, you can report on it. And then loan mowers rather?
Loan mowers was Swigam.
Swigam. It was bidded?
Yes. It was 3 quotations.
Okay.
Not bidded. 3 quotations. CCTV was Yaya Malang also.
Yeah. It was bidded?
Yes. I think it's better we provide all the documentation.
No, let's just name that after you provide. Alternative numbering of seats?
No, but that one I can't remember.
Field marking machines?
I can't remember that.
Okay. Sprinklers?
Pingan, it was Swigam.
Swigam. And then finally, painting of interior of the main bowl.
No. I'm just looking at the queries that we received from not providing delivery notes. The companies. So.
Now, then take your report and then work on the report, then submit your submission on this. What's supposed to be established is the act of single sourcing. Whether it, since there were lists of items, whether they were single source or not,
yeah,
that's what should be established.
Okay.
Now, contracting was done by the management, even though it's under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, but it's confirmed that it was done by the management. So what the auditors were trying to query, that it was single source, and that's what we want to establish, whether single source was there, and if not, or if single source, whoever did it, that means flouted the GBPA rules. That's what we want to establish. So you can make your submission, the report on it, or only before 25th. And where GBPA is said to have given approval, like the first one, the scoreboard, you can also respond to that. 25th, okay?
We submit to the ministry and the ministry submit to you, or?
Yeah, ministry to the committee, Fpac.
The ministry to Fpac.
Honorable Chair, if I may, based on the amount, this should have been open tendering. So what they have done, if you look at our auditor's comment, we said there are indications of potential deaggregation to bypass procurement rules. So up to 10 million, you can open tender. I think GPPA here is here to clarify that. Otherwise, it's like they just give contract to different individual companies. Almost 14 companies were engaged. This would have been given to, maybe if they were tendering, they will invite bids, and the most responsive bidder would have been given this contract. But what they did,
all the items.
Yes. 14 companies, instead of, because the amount involved, there are threshold, 10 million. It should be subjected to bidding.
Okay.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair. Take note.
My understanding was this was an emergency request. This is why the Ministry of Finance got involved and then disbursed the funds directly to the independent student, because there was pressure on the independent student to make sure matches were played in the Gambia, and Gambia qualifies to play matches in Cameroon. So if you wanted to delay this because you wanted to do bidding and all that, it will take forever. It will take forever. So I think from that perspective, I think it makes sense the way the Independence Stadium did this, to give it to different companies and to get the work done on time.
Yeah, we want to establish whether it was single or were single source or not, and who did the contract that was mentioned. So the document that's supposed to be provided to the auditors that we are not, we urge the management to provide them to the ministry for onward submission to the committee and to be given to the auditors on or before 25th February, right? I was thinking we'll get this done quickly, but you know, Independence Stadium, all eyes are on the stadium. No formal projection or project presentation that was flagged, and the recommendation procuring organization should provide evidence of presentation in both soft and hard copies. Management response.
Upon the completion of the work scope by Ministry of Works, Ministry of Youth and Sports organized a meeting at its conference room at the Quadrangle and invited all stakeholders.
Yes,
and
Honorable Chair. This is rated as medium, so I would suggest we skip this point. And besides it has been resolved. Yes, please. Yes, I'm quite so.
The technical committee has been actively engaged on inspection of work when the need arises. The technical committee hold regular meetings, and in most of those meetings, the technical committee will conduct a walkthrough, communicated their observations with which is taken note by the consultant for the address.
Auditor's comment, the audit team has requested for their inspection reports and meeting minutes. However, the documents requested was not provided up to the time of finalizing this report.
Honorable Chair, I would endeavor to provide the meeting minutes of the technical committee meetings. Yes, please.
Honorable Chair, sorry, just a bit of clarity. It's not limited to only the minutes, but also inspection reports of the technical committee, as indicated in our auditor's comment.
Noted.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Please note that the ministry did not execute this project. Please refer to unjustified single source procurement.
Auditor's comment, the finding remains unresolved.
We are still talking about the 10 million. I think when we provide those supporting documents, that would address this.
Yes, this is beyond the 10 million we talk about. We said in addition to the 10 million, some of these areas also appeared in phase 1 to phase 3. So it's like if you go to the 10 million, you'll see the scoreboard. You come to phase 1, you'll see some scoreboard and football ground. Especially the football ground repeatedly appeared in most of these phases. So that in it itself is like you're repeating the same thing. Why? Exactly.
Let me answer that one. There is no duplication. The scoreboard was part of the second phase, not the first phase.
No, let me just comment.
Scoreboard was...
There was a scoreboard in the 10 million. But when CAF came, they give us a specific type of scoreboard that the stadium needed. Then that's what was procured. When it comes to the football field, when it was maintenance, after when the band came in, it took about over a year before even work start at the stadium. And stadium hosts events at the main ground. Obviously, the ground will be dilapidated, and that's what happened. And
after the inspection, you have to...
Not the inspection. When the ban came, when the stadium was banned, that you cannot use the stadium because it did not meet international
Standard, yes.
It took over a year before work starts again at the stadium. And during that period, the stadium have to host events at the stadium, main ground, and it affected the football field.
The initial work was before the ban.
Yes, for the 10 million.
That for the 10 million.
Yes.
Then after the 10 million, when the ban was effected, you have to do another work on it.
Yeah, on the ground, yes.
Huh?
Yes. So that's why you have this duplication happening.
Yeah. As well as the other materials, the PA system, spectator, toilet, and dressing room.
Yeah, even if you look at this PA system now, when the CAF security officer came to the stadium, he told us that we have to expand the stadium, the PS, the CCTV, for example, all over the place.
So the initial PA system?
The initial PA system, it was just a normal PA system that we buy speakers and so on.
Normal PA system. If you are providing the report, we want to know the cost of that normal PA system.
Everything will be provided.
Okay?
Yes.
And then the cost for this other standard PA system?
Yes. Now it's a standard PA system which is installed within the stadium premises. So it doesn't need to move. But the other one was moved, and then now we use it at the Friendship Hotel to hire out.
The spectator toilet also was refurbished?
Yes. And it's continued to be refurbished. It will never stop to be refurbished.
The first one was the second one.
Yes, it will never stop to be refurbished because anytime there's
you putting those, the second phase was the standard one?
Yes. Now
the
it's a
first
standard one.
Was a local one?
No, it was standard even.
But I mean the first one.
But Honorable, take this. Even for your athletics. After the athletics, there will be major maintenance at the stadium because of the usage of the toilets. It will continue to happen every year that we invest in the toilets.
Likewise, the dressing room.
The dressing room is an international standard, but we have also the local.
Before it
dressing
was not international standard.
No, and that's why what we use and move those materials to the local national leagues.
Okay.
So we have two dressing rooms.
Yeah. So already we have had the explanation. The reason for duplication. Initially, that was done to satisfy our needs locally, but to meet the international standard, these works have to be done, and then that's why the works were done again. Yes?
I think these have been pointed out because of inadequate planning. If there were proper planning, some of these things would not have been repeated. Yeah.
Okay.
Honorable Chair, I think there's lack of understanding when it comes to dealing with this stadium. It's not as a result of lack of proper planning. There's a lot when it comes to the technical and financial challenges with regards to this special type of football that we are trying to have. For the first time, we've never had this type of football pitch in the country. Let me say this.
Go on.
Specialized equipment needs. The hybrid grass surface requires specialized maintenance machines. You have what they call aerators, you have what they call detachers, irrigation control, that are not normally needed for natural grass pitch. Gambia, we know natural grass pitch. This is new. This is the first time we are going to have it. And this grass that we are having, this hybrid grass, is very, very sensitive. It's like keeping a poultry. You know, when the weather gets so dry, they are not properly irrigated, they get sick. The fertilizers, you cannot have them in the country here. You have to import the fertilizer. The skills and knowledge gaps.
I think the PS, the issue is on the duplication. What they were trying to say.
I'm explaining why we.
Maybe, I want availability of fund or something like that could be the reason.
Yeah, there is a lot of talk about this stadium because Gambians don't understand what we are dealing with here.
No, what we are trying to determine here, that issue surrounding what is believed to be duplication. That's what we were trying to establish. And the reasons were advanced. Initial work was intended for local use, and then the other one, when CAF came, it has to be standard. So that's why they have to go back and then they redo some of those facilities. That's what was advanced. So now they are saying that if there was proper plan, that could have been avoided. But I want to believe if the fund was adequate enough, whatever work you want to do to standard, you can do. But if you don't have the means, You cannot.
And even to football field, still, yes.
You see, thank you very much, Chair. You see, this is about money invested in the stadium. And it is invested there because we have people who should at least run the affairs of the stadium, especially our sporting facility. So I think what I'm seeing here, because even the scoreboard, is like you invest, then later it was disapproved. So I just want to know whether when you were implementing these works, you don't have any guidelines from CAF or from the contractor to indicate that this is the specific project, this is how it should be, the design and everything. Because right now, if you want to tell us, like, okay, people don't understand, but the reason why you are there is because of you have the expertise. And we cannot be investing money, and at the end of the day, just like that, it's like we are investing money, nothing is happening, we are not even maintaining or sustaining the project. So right now, I think the best thing for us, we just need to know how to go about this project. Not to go blindly, at the end of the day, you implement, then later the inspectors come. Because even currently, projects all over the world, even if you have your donor, whilst you are implementing, sometimes donors will ask you, take photo of this. In fact, they have technologies wherein even the size from the photo, they can know whether you have the size also. So this is what I don't understand. Is it that the contractors were just working with blindly to wait for the inspectors to come and approve their work, or whilst they were implementing the project, whether there was like some kind of monitoring and evaluation during the process of the project?
I think for that, if you look at the first maintenance, when it happens, there was no guidelines. It was just an advice from CAF to improve the standard of the stadium. That's why even after we improved the standard of the stadium, we continue playing international matches until we were able to qualify to the first AFCON. After the first AFCON, then the ban comes in, that the stadium is banned for all category 3 or category 4 international matches. And that's where the guidelines come in. And the guidelines was not specific, as I said, it was general. Then afterwards, when we have the preliminary inspection, that's where the specific things start to come in on what we need to do, what are we supposed to do. And that's when we follow that guidelines of the first inspection. And then we start having that conversation with CAF, sending them all our information so that they will check and advise us accordingly. But it's not that we were doing things blindly.
General Manager, if no guideline was given, the initial one, no guideline was given, you are asked to improve on.
Yes. Yes.
But no guideline given. How will one see that?
No, there was no guidelines.
I think that's where the issue of poor planning came. You should have been directed or advised. This is how you should do, improve on it, so that you can measure the work that will be in line with the CAF standard. CAF is the one that advised. They should have given you that guidelines to measure that standard. Then there the planning, what they are querying can be established.
Yeah, but that guideline came after the ban. That's when CAF draw up their guidelines.
Yeah, the one I'm saying, the initial advice they have given, I said they should have given you advice since then to avoid this duplication. That's why they are saying, I'm sorry to use the word for local purpose, but not for local. Then it was CAF that advice, then that was supposed to be on international. So, but they failed to give you the guideline. And 2 years later, this ban came, you have to go back and redo 5 facilities. The scoreboard, football ground, PA system, spectator toilet, and then the dressing room. If the advice was there, then that would have been addressed. We have worked towards that. So that's what member is trying to say. Anyway, that's noted. What's supposed to be provided, I think we have agreed on that. The ministry can work with the management to provide that. It's in the report on or before on the 25th. Can we move to 165? Demolition and rework of contractors' completed work. That is noted by the auditors, and then the images are indicated in the report, and therefore the audit recommended that management, including the technical committee and then the certifying officers, should be held accountable for approving payment without adequate inspection or for satisfying that the work done is subject to demolition. And also the consultant and the technical team provide meeting minutes to the audit team. Management response?
The amount for phase 2 of CFTM is 16,552,291.14 and not 15,977,000 as indicated. Yes. The works for phase 2 by CFTM was successfully completed and in time as per the agreed scope. The recent decoration works that caused the removal of the ceiling is an artistic work, not demolition. At the stadium, it was gratis by a company called EM2X, integral without any demand for payment from government. The work is meant to give the VVIP rooms a better look. What is shown on page 2, on picture 2 above, is the required improvement on the pitch as recommended by CAF. The pitch installed by CFTM has not been removed. Rather, the top layer of the grass was removed to allow for the proper treatment. Growth and maintenance to meet the required centimeters. Hybrid pitches require such work at a minimum every 2 years. This is one of the reasons the required machines have been included in the phase 3.
Audit.
Auditor's comment. The audit team noted that CFTM was engaged for renovation activities during phase 2, while GICO was contracted to execute portions of phase 2 as well as phase 1 and phase 3. However, there was no verifiable evidence indicating that the work originally performed by CFTM later demolished was re-executed by GICO at no additional cost. GICO continued to receive payments for various completed tasks throughout the project. Consequently, the assertion that GICO reworked the demolished portion free of charge remains unsubstantiated. This implies that work performed by CFTM were substandard and the cost paid to CFTM should be recovered. The finding remain unresolved.
Audit, management.
Okay, Mr. Chair, this portion was the VVIP area. The work was done by CFTM, the ceiling work with acoustic ceiling. There was a contractor, international contractor, who came and offered the Minister of Youth and Sport that he will decorate the VVIP lounge by removing the acoustic ceiling and putting the gypsum board, like how this ceiling is, this conference ceiling is. Yes, so he removed the acoustic ceiling and put the gypsum ceiling board for decoration without no charges to government. Yeah. Further to that, Jigo Construction was not responsible for that part, for removing the ceiling. It was this international company that gave offer free of charge to Ministry of Youth and Sport for decoration. Yes.
Audit?
Honorable Chair, I think we are still not satisfied with the response provided, because as you have seen, as indicated in the finding, picture 1, the picture that was attached suggested that the work was almost near completion. But when the team physically went for physical verification, they realized that much of what was presented was not what was exactly on the ground. That's why we raised this query. But the management response is like it's not addressing the issue, and we believe that this issue is still relevant. Thank you.
The image 1 and image 2. You said the first image that was provided.
Image, that is the first image, was picture 1. This was on the website, their website of the contractor. However, when we went on the ground, when we visited the ground, we took some pictures and realized that what was the picture 2, if you can look at picture 2, do not tally with what we have on the website. And we also saw that there are some areas that they were doing some demolition. So it was like this area was worked on, and it was still some portions were removed, while the contract was they stated that the contract was completed.
Oh, okay. Picture 1 was during the construction period. You can see right there, they laid the fiber, artificial turf, and put some sand on the edges. That was the first stage of laying the fiber. So face picture 2, after the completion of the work, this was the last inspection that was done by the CAF pitch expert recommendation. After his recommendation that the pitch, the topsoil have to be removed, but the fiber, that is the artificial top, remains. So that shows the picture there, removal of the topsoil.
Yes, just to add, the football field is a hybrid pitch. It's a mixture of artificial turf and grass, too. And if you look at the first picture, it's the two mixtures. But when there was a CAF inspection and the stadium grass was infected by insecticides and pesticides, that's what made the CAF inspection fail, because of the grass was under attack with insects and pests. So the advice was we have to remove the grass. And that's what's going on now at the stadium. The grass is being removed, but you still have the artificial turf there. So the grass will grow with the artificial stuff to be on the same line. So we'll have a mixture of hybrid. That's what we call hybrid pitch. It's totally different. So if you look at this, you will think that there is no pitch, but there is a pitch. Because the grass is, the artificial turf is there still. Now we are growing the grass to go in line with the two, which is going to be an hybrid pitch. Yes. Yes, the top is still there. So we are doing now natural grass on top, because that was attacked by insects and pests. And we do not have those insecticides and pesticides to even address this problem. We have to bring them outside of the country. And also the massive.
Well, this picture showing both the grass and the artificial turf, the second one.
The artificial stuff is underneath.
At this time.
At this time, yes, the artificial stuff is still there.
It's still there.
Yes.
But we have more
so we are just removing the grass.
Okay, you have more of the artificial turf.
Yes.
Than the grass.
No. They have to be equal.
At that time.
At that time, it should be equal.
I mean, look at the picture, whether they were equal.
No, at this time, if you look at this, we are removing the grass. Now.
So now you have more of artificial turf.
Yes. After this, you have more of artificial turf. Even if you go to the stadium today, you will see the grass start germinating, because we are doing the grass.
Yeah, Audit, you've heard the explanation.
The technical one.
As
they have
auditor,
experts in that area when you are auditing?
this one we have limited expertise in this area.
You should have.
But we can only see what they do, to be honest.
But
It's difficult to.
You should have all components in what. So, okay. So we've taken notes. And when you submit the comprehensive report, we'll review for further comment. Yes, Honorable.
Yes, what? The auditors don't have expertise. You want to count on me? But with all seriousness, Honorable Chair, I think the fundamental issue here is planning. You know, it could be done better. Listening to the stadium management, we have hope that very soon the grass will grow. But if I compare picture 1 and picture 2, even though the submission is picture 2 is meant to improve on the conditions of picture 1, but to me, picture 1 looks better. And I think that's where the technical expertise comes into play. How do you convince me that picture 2 eventually is an improvement process? You know, so thank God now the grasses are growing, but picture 1 comes with a caption, which I will read. And I think this caption was done by CFTM. And they said, "We are proud to announce that we have successfully completed the lots contracted to us. These lots paved the way for the Independence Stadium of the Gambia to begin hosting international football matches. Our lots include the construction of a brand new hybrid pitch, from drainage and irrigation system installation to hybrid grass laying and seeding. This achievement has enabled Gambia to join the select few countries in Africa that have a FIFA standard hybrid pitch." And I believe it was after this push that the CAF inspectors came and everything have to be started again. So that means the observations of the auditors is apt. So what we are just going to say is we've recognized the efforts of the management, you know, in their quest to ensure that we have excellence. But the values that are being expended, if at all the initial work contain all the qualities of a hybrid pitch, you would not be adding any extra money. So I strongly believe moving forward, before we embark on any rehabilitation, first we should be clear to know what is required, because the standards are not made by us. The standards are made by CAF with regards to the stadium. We should be clear as to what do we want, and we should be clear as to who do we contract. Because if you contract people who do not have the expertise, you'll go back to square one altogether. So I think my questions will be coming from that front, and it will go to the stadium management. Are we sure that all the ongoing works are in accordance with the CAF regulations or CAF requirements currently?
Yeah, we following everything, because you see the inspection was not only the football field, it was all aspect of the stadium, and now all aspect of the stadium is approved. All the competition area are approved. Okay. Only the football field is not approved. Yes, we can say planning, because there are what affected this football ground was, as I said, there was no insecticides or pesticides available in country to able to treat this. There was no machinery to work with apart from a mower only. And football field now requires a lot of work, lot of expertise. Even in the Gambia here, we don't have the expertise of a grass management. Grass management is just like the auditors here, managers like me. It's an expertise now, and we don't have it. And it could be a challenge going forward to maintain the stadium and sustain it the way we want, if you don't have the requisite expertise to do that. So these are challenges that happen. That's why the inspection failed. Because when the grass was attacked by the insects and pests, we did not have the necessary tools to able to address it and the expertise.
But you are confident that currently the works which have been done,
The work which have been done, because we have an expert on the ground working with it and training the staffs to able to do the work. We already have one expert that have left. There's another one here who is going to be here for 1 year, and the consultant who is fully responsible for the ground can talk about that.
When do we expect the works to be finished?
The work expected to be finished. The work expected to be completed end of April 2026. The contractor that is working on the pitch was recommended by the CAF pitch expert. They are the one that is working on the pitch.
So sorry to cut you there.
Yeah.
What happened to CFTM?
Who? The CFTM?
Yes.
Yeah, CFTM, they completed their work. This contractor that is working on the pitch was based on the CAF pitch expert that came to the country to assess the quality of the pitch. So from there, he recommended the contractor, the specialized contractor that's supposed to work on the restoration of the football pitch with the right equipments, light fertilization to be made on the pitch.
Yes, Chairman, I want to make a supplementary question. Yes, so I just want to know, establish the expert who came here to inspect the pitch, was he the very person who recommended the guy doing the pitch right now, or?
Yeah, he recommended 3 companies that CAF work with at AFCON football, Africos, the pitch, the stadium building, and the maintenance of the football pitch. So he recommended 3 companies. So they all sent their quotations. One company was recommended through subcontracting. That was the Grigori International that is working on the pitch right now.
So is it normal in the CAF regulation for such expert to recommend contractors to you? Because at the end of the day, they can always play games. In fact, they can come and disapprove, and this other person can also recommend another person. So I don't know. For me, I am still not very convinced about this thing.
In that case, because here we don't have a company that we are specialized on the pitch restoration. That's why the committee contacted the expert to provide pitch contractors, the CAF pitch contractors.
So, this thing, it affects so many countries, as you said. But I think we have countries who are doing the same thing. They have stadiums. You don't do any consultation, maybe outside to know somebody, or also within your own ministry or stadium, to at least build capacities of people, let them go and learn this thing, than hiring expert and you are paying them a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree with you. We should train people to do grass management, because it's a big challenge in Gambian football. All the grasses you see in this country do not survive. So people have to learn how to manage grass, and it's an expertise that is not available in the country.
So then I think that one, for me, such question, when I post it and you bring it, I always tell you, you should have initiated this thing. You should not come here and tell us this thing, because you are in your office, you are in your departments, some of these challenges, you should address it before we come. We should not recommend that for you because at least because the thing is already, because I am a little bit discouraged because it's like we don't have expertise. So meaning even if we put money, they may even disapprove it. So what can we do to sustain the monies that we are putting in the stadium so that we can start enjoying our national sports? Because right now, this stadium is really affecting our sporting disciplines, all the disciplines, especially athletics and football. So I don't know. I don't know.
No, Honorable, I agree with you. And we have been putting this to the authorities for our staffs to be trained on grass management. This is not a new thing. The Muslim Minister of Youth and Sports and the National Assembly. In our reports to the National Assembly, it has been coming here over the years since I joined the stadium. It has been coming here. Even the subcommittee, when the chairman was in the subcommittee, they came to the stadium and visited the stadium. And these are issues that we raise, that we need to maintain. We need to improve the standard of the stadium, and we need to train our staff to have the expertise. You know, these are technical matters. You know, so if you don't train our people, we end up spending money outside. So we need to train them.
can we continue? We go to 169, perhaps the second to last one. Non-execution of specific work at the VIP entrance gate. On that non-execution, the audit recommended that management withhold final payments or initiate recovery if the contractor was paid for works not delivered. Management?
Honorable Chair, there are no pavement slabs for the VIP entrance in the contract as indicated in the report. The only pavement slab works is for the stadium surrounding areas around the perimeter fence, which has been completed fully. The retention money should be paid in lieu of the retention bond, bank guarantee. See attached the retention bond guarantee.
Auditors come in. The finding remains unresolved as the inspection report from CAF highlighted general remodeling of the stadium.
Yes, Euro Sports. Huh? Were specific work at the VIP still not done?
The VIP is approved by CAP.
That
all works have been done at the VIP.
At the VIP, and they are all approved.
Yes.
No pending work.
No, it's only the pitch which is outstanding.
No, this query is pertaining to the VIP entrance. So at the moment, all works at the VIP entrance are completed.
The pavement slab.
Slab is completed.
Huh?
The pavement slab is completed.
Was the query on only the pavement slab?
And the retention
None.
money.
What?
Retention.
Huh?
Yeah, the retention money.
Is that completed?
Yes.
The retention money.
The retention money was paid in lieu of bank guarantee. The retention bond bank guarantee.
Audit, are you hearing them?
Can you repeat that, please?
I mean the retention money was paid in lieu of the retention bond guarantee, bank guarantee. And the pavements slabs works was also completed around the perimeter fence.
And that's not supposed to be at the entrance?
No.
Okay. But the perimeter fence?
Yes.
And it's completed?
Yes.
Okay. So what is pending audit?
Well, as per the progress report, this was included under Lot 3, where you have internal, external areas. It reads, you have stadium seats numbering, VVVIP1. The last point, where you have the external landscaping with pavement, that is on page 7 of your progress report. No, we are saying lot 3.
Yeah, but that's completed. All those are completed.
It's completed? Completed?
Yes.
Well, during the time of our audit, this was not completed. Maybe now we can confirm.
To be confirmed?
Yes, please.
When can you do that?
During our subsequent audit in 2025, this year.
2025?
Yes.
Okay. So finally, for sports, 171, lack of accountability for demolished and removed materials was noted, and the audit recommended management provide full inventory and disposal report for all materials removed, and that the management provide proceeds from sale of disposal of assets and evidence of receipt paid in into the consolidated revenue fund. Audit management response.
There is a disposal committee at the Independence Stadium, management that is responsible for the disposal of assets.
Auditor's comment. The finding remain unresolved. The audit team requested for the evidence of the disposal proceeds of the disposed assets, but were not provided up to the time of finalizing this report.
Do you have those evidence available?
Yes.
Ministry? I'll do that.
We will need to do further consultation on this and then.
For the consultation?
Yes, please.
And report back or no before on the 25th?
Yes.
Okay, honorable members, this has brought us to the end of today's sitting. On that note, can any honorable member move that we adjourn the sitting till tomorrow 10 a.m. prompt? Seconded. Or you want us to extend? Can we, it has been moved and seconded that we adjourn the sitting until tomorrow 10 a.m. Those in favor, please say aye. And not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. On that note, the sitting is adjourned. OP is reminded they will be the first witness. Works also will be here. And then OP, okay, they are here. Finance, very good. Yeah. So when we're done with 23, we'll proceed with 24. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Huh? Huh? Pardon? I'm not getting you. Yeah, tomorrow we can. She's not here. Once she comes,